They're the active vitamin ones.
Yeah, that's the caffeine one, isn't it?
It's, I mean, that's got caffeine, but it says 80 milligrams of caffeine, but it claims clean energy.
Clean.
Talk to me about caffeine. You're not keen on caffeine?
No,
I hear loads of it.
I try and stay clear of it if I can. Yeah.
We had this conversation before, didn't you? Said if I had a little bit of caffeine, I'm up all night.
Affects me with sleep and stuff. Yeah.
Really? Even if you take it before? Is there a cut-off point?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big. I don't have a lot of caffeine products anyway, so I don't drink coffee. Obviously, I know tea's got caffeine in it.
Don't drink it at all?
At
all, you don't drink coffee?
No, just don't like the taste.
I never like the taste, to be honest with you.
But it's one of those, I don't know, it's weird because all the lads at work have got a coffee club. You know, my missus
Some people are so into it, aren't they?
Stuff like that. And yeah, she calls me weirdo and stuff like that.
Yeah. I never drank coffee till during the fire service.
Yeah.
There was a lad I was on watch with. I can't think what the coffee's called. He called it cat shit coffee.
Yeah.
The cat eats.
What's it called? Come on, you must know.
The cat? What?
So the cat eats this bean.
Yeah.
It passes through, and then they get the beans, and that's what you eat.
What?
The cat poos it, obviously, out, and then you use that.
Shit coffee.
Cat shit coffee. It comes on watch.
Kopi. It's called something like, because it's in Friends. No, but it's also in what's that film where Morgan Freeman and
Not narrow it down.
exactly, great films. Morgan Freeman and Robert De Niro, I think it is, where it's like bucket list, and no, it's not Robert De Niro. Who's it? Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. And Jack Nicholson goes in hospital, multi-billionaire, and the first thing he asks his special little assistant to bring in is the super Gucci coffee thing. So I'm not drinking this hospital coffee shit. I'm going to bring in the special stuff. And it is Kopi Laku. Come on, Jamie. What's it called? Kopi Luwak. Damn, that's 5 points at least. I was close. But yeah, they follow the cats and the cats shit it out and then they take it and use it. But is that any different than...
made them think of that in the first place. Just come buy it. Look, this tastes nice.
You say that, and I agree with you, but you just put milk in your tea, yeah? Who was the first person that said, you see that cow over there? I'm going to go and squeeze its tits, and whatever comes out, I'm going to drink it. And we went, I think something's wrong with Dean. Or someone that saw the chicken and said, next thing that comes out of his arse, I'm going to eat it.
Crack it
and they were like, I think Jeff needs a hobby.
Jeff's got a bit of a pass.
Jeff's struggling. See if he's okay with you. Caffeine. Zach, obviously he attributes caffeine to some of his big challenges, but I don't think I really react to it very well. One thing I've had to start ramping down on is nicotine.
Really?
Mate,
patches?
I'm an addict. No, the bloody Zen things, the pouches that stick in my mouth. I've never smoked.
You just now but now the nicotine's in you. And
Nicotine's there, so I'm just like,
Why did you try that in the first place?
Because it was like a coping mechanism from getting through recovery because it gives you a stim. It gives you a nice little stim. Yeah, and you're like, oh, I'm getting a little high off this thing. It's pathetic, to be honest with you.
But it fills a gap, I suppose.
It does, but then I didn't realise, like the typical addict, when you start taking too much of something else, so I got a really, really bad back, and I didn't know why I'd got it, and then I went through the doctor, did the physio, did the old, like, stick your needles, acupuncture, and going through things I was taking, and I said, I'm taking nicotine, and they said, you're trying to stop smoking? I was like, no, I'm just a dick.
Never smoked.
Just, it's a drug, let's have it. It's a massive vasoconstrictor. So it narrows all of your blood vessels, and it can, if you take too much of it, and actually started causing issues with my gums. Like my gums started to recede. I started noticing it, brushing my teeth. I was like,
that's when they chew tobacco
what
in America.
The hell?
And stuff like that. Yeah, that's what it does.
Ruins the teeth, doesn't it? But I don't get too much. I guess it makes sense.
As if my life is not a walking bin fire. I'm just inventing problems now. I'm like, I think I'll develop this issue because that'll be fun. I need a bit more character.
You sought after it. You know what? I'll try it. And then you're like, actually, this has made things worse. But people pass out, don't they, with too much nicotine?
Yeah, you can overdose on nicotine.
It constricts. And
for every
Did you?
It's the worst I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
Well, because you never had it before, or you just had one?
Never had it before.
Yeah, you never pass out and you nearly feel like a vomit the first few times you have it. Yeah.
That's bad.
So nicotine poisoning is a real thing, and if you've got no tolerance for it. But anyway, the reason I did start taking it was A, because I get a little stim, and B, the same sodden reason I'm drinking this stuff, is because I like I like any kind of nootropic. I like anything that's giving me that buzz, you know. And even when I was that kind of making excuses for yourself as an addict, even when I was on the doors, I was like, I would take speed and I would take amphetamines, but I never did heroin or anything like that. I didn't
Drew the
smoke.
line, mate, obviously. Drew the line.
I've got standards, you know, but I didn't have weed. I didn't have the normal drugs.
Yeah, you went for stims.
I was like, oh no, this is going to help me stay up all night so I can work the doors and then go back to station and be on call in the morning. You know, I was using it's an excuse. You're a great salesperson to yourself. Yeah, you justify it to yourself.
Yeah.
So then as I stopped having those really, really crazy drugs, that's when I started drinking coffee. So I was like, oh, this is a nice little buzz, gives me a little fix. But it reminds me, and I forget what book it's in, but they say, and you'll remember this one, Jamie, the poison's in the dose. I thought that was a great statement when I first said that, because it's true about anything, isn't it?
Water.
You can overdose. Yeah, you can drink too much water.
Life is
Paracetamol.
about moderation, isn't it? Life is about moderation, and for every good thing that we have or we think is good, there'll be a side effect somewhere.
Trade-off.
If you have too much,
Yeah, there is.
if you have too much of anything, it's not good. You can take multivitamins; they're good for you. You take too many, they come bad for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I had a mate when we were at school, we were in college actually. He had a cold, and his mum had bought him chewable multivits, and he just thought the chewable tastes nice. So he ate the tub for like 2 days.
Jesus, it's like sweets.
His tongue went black. He had like iron poisoning or something ridiculous. It was off for like a week. He comes up, what's up, mate? He's like,
Yeah.
I've been really
Someone
poorly.
offered to send me some creatine gummies the other day, and I was like,
They're really good though.
yeah,
But you got to stop
there's
yourself.
loads of them.
That's the problem.
That's
you
the
got
thing.
to know
You
moderation.
can have too much. You can have too much, can't you?
Yeah.
You know? It's another gimmick at the end of the day, isn't it? And that's
It
what
is.
people are trying to do. Is always trying to find something to sell.
Yeah.
I say
trying to find the
creatine is just a powder, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
plain powder. It doesn't need any taste. Then people start bringing out flavoured ones and now gummies
Yeah.
versions and that.
Just it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It tastes alright.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
People are always trying to sell us stuff.
Yeah, they are.
So that brings me on to probably a great starting point for us, even though we're, God knows what, 12 minutes in already. We'll probably use a lot of what we've already recorded. Motivations. You and I were talking the other week around what motivates us to do the things that we do. And we all do very different things at different ages, different lengths of careers, different successes. And again, I'd love to ask people about like what their definition of success is. But a lot of my motivations, I think, have come from like a really potent but toxic fuel, which is really, really useful at the beginning of
It
things.
dies out.
And then either it dies out or it harms you.
Yes. Yeah.
Like at some point you need to transition. Like if I lose at something, it really motivates me to get on and absolutely crush it. Or if someone thinks I can't do something, or if whatever it is, it's a really potent but toxic fuel. It's a bit like a rocket, you know, it burns all that fuel in the first hour or whatever, and then it should find a bit of a rhythm where it sort of goes on. Like I find, certainly for Zach, it's something we spoke about a lot when I had him on. He has gotten into a really healthy, I think. He's making progress all the time.
Who's killing things?
But he doesn't seem to be burning himself out.
No.
He's ticking, it's healthy. Like, I tend to go in swings where I go over-index, bang, snap, torn something, broke something, my life's blown up, relationship's blown up, job's in trouble, whatever it might be. Like, how do you both deal with those motivations? Because you both seem to have a much more steadier heads.
Yeah, I don't know if I am. When
Really?
you're talking, I'm very much you. And the best
I don't think you're that bad. That's a bit harsh.
No, yeah, but in terms of, I've 100% in the past overtrained, gone way too far, fell apart, and gone, why have I fell apart? Just don't understand it. And then you look back at, okay, volume in the gym, say, I've done 100 sets that week, and realistically I should be doing 50. I've doubled the volume thinking that's going to make a difference, or pushing in terms of intensity of weights, just pushing, trying to always peak, never allow myself to have any kind of recovery period or any kind of deload week, and then wondering why things fall apart.
Yeah.
Because I want to always chase that. Oh, if I just push a little bit harder, a little bit more, I'll be a little bit better. And it never ends. When does that end? It doesn't. It's having.
It's back to that poison's in the dose, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Up until a certain state, I can tolerate it.
You'll notice this more the older you get as well. So you're obviously still a young whippersnapper, whereas I'm like 46, 47 this year.
Yeah.
So I watched a YouTube video. It was an interview of Dwayne Chambers not so long ago, an athlete, remember the sprinter. So he's still an athlete now. I think he's in his 40s.
Yeah. I think he's in his 50s.
Yeah. But his advice was, as you get older, train less, recover more.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean so much as like you don't go to the gym as much. Just things like you rest. So, for example, if you're doing intervals, I know you do 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off, You get to my age, do 2 minutes on, have 6 minutes off.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Just make sure you're recovered.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And then that can bring you onto things like supplements, sleep, stuff like that. But yeah, when you get to my age, it's all about recovery. And again, last year is when I noticed.
Alan said a lot about that as well.
I was training hard because we went to Saudi, didn't we? And then we come back from that, and I was like, right, I'm bang on this now. You know, I had some success out there. Going to carry on this season. Tore my hamstring twice. Overtraining, and I knew there was a problem with the hamstring. I just feel it.
Yeah,
but I'm like, but I cannot miss this training session today. I can't miss it. When I did stair training, bang, went.
Yeah.
You know, thought I got over that. Went to Wales. I should never say not gone to Wales. I shouldn't have competed in Wales. I knew I shouldn't have done it. And even in my warm up, I was like, that was the first time I'd done a proper run. Went out there, pushed it to it. Instead of just going through the race, I had that motivation of winning gold.
But it's hard.
I had to win. I couldn't
just stop.
I couldn't. I couldn't just go to that race and just go through it. I had to go into it to win. Either that or nothing. And I should never have done it. And as you saw, 20
but when you do win, though,
again.
Because like, it's a conversation you and I have had. Try and sit a bit closer to that.
Like this.
You've won a bunch of stuff now. You know, but as we all have in different ways, in different capacities and stuff like that, but certainly within the framework and the lens of like Firefighter Challenges.
Yeah.
UK, abroad, you've won loads of stuff now. Why keep doing them? Because we spoke about like Jared before and other people, and I struggle with it. I've not won as I don't know what the rankings are in terms of how much I've won of anything, but for me it's like I go and I want to get better and better at the hosting, and I enjoy that. Yeah. But every time people are like, "Oh, when's your run today, Pete?" And I'm like,
it's not.
I don't really want to do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like a hypocrite if I don't do it. And I do love it.
We've had the
but
same
I'm like,
conversation before.
It's so stressful. Like, I don't want to do it.
I think the big thing for me is, fun enough, me and Kush were talking about this the other day. We trained and we're like, why do we do this?
Yeah.
Like we turn up and we absolutely batter ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we're doing sprints on the rower, like 250-metre sprints on the rower. You go, I go. And Kush is intense. That man is intense, right? Love him to pieces.
Yeah.
But at one point, we did 5 lots 250. The last 100 metres, I wanted to die. He's like in my face, yelling drill size. I'm like, it's just too much. It's just too much stimulation. I'm like grunting. I'm shutting down. I'm like white noise coming in.
I'm either going to come or pass out.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
This is too much. And we got off there, and we're both absolutely knackered. And we're like, why are we doing this? But then we both said, well, we both played rugby to a decent level. Stopped playing rugby. For me, I joined the fire service straight away. Kush went on and did PT and other stuff. But he said we've got to have something to replace that competitive edge. And that, for me, is what it is. You've
got to have a purpose.
Exactly. And it's something to compete. And I really noticed that when I first joined the fire service, I think probably 2 years in, I then thought I'd do my first challenge in Watford. And I got the bug. I was like, I'm not very good at this, but I could be better at this. And it's something that it's organised. Yes, at that point, it's one a year. I was like, I can get behind this. And that kind of started the ball rolling. And now, it's like, what else will I do? I do CrossFit. I enjoy CrossFit. I'm average at best.
Why? Because I think I'm the same.
It's because to be really look at Zach, right? That dude is mad impressive.
Yeah.
His skill set's phenomenal.
Yeah.
His mobility is phenomenal. And he's like a duck to walk with most things because he's just athletic.
He is, but I wouldn't want to not give him credit as well by saying he's really good at practicing stuff he's really crap at.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's the package. He is the package. In terms of, he's just got that mindset, which is incredible. And he'll like he said quite a few times, he's like, the things I'm not good at, I'll go away and practice. And me and Jamie's conversation coming up, if I'm playing rugby now, I'd probably be a better player because I'd actually focus on things I'm not good at.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Whereas it's took me a long time to develop that mindset. And then with the challenges now, each time I've gone through it, I've kind of always got close. Something happened, right? I need to go away and work on this. And I've always had that
It's such a narrow window of success, though. Similar to like the Chambers analogy. Yeah. It's like, you're going to train, and it's not every 4 years. But still, it's like some random pointless stuff can just come up. And
the stress of that's even more. Because I never did I only did team sports up until
this.
In reality, it's the first time I had to compete by myself. And initially, I was like, I kind of like this because I've got complete control.
Yeah, 100%.
How much I put in is what I get out. Whereas with rugby, I had the best game ever, and 14 other players have the worst game, and there's nothing I can do. And it goes both ways, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it's that competitive edge. I want to. I want to be competitive. And it's nice as well. Realistically, you get to meet people. Well, all of us have met through the challenges, and all the people that we know through them.
Yeah.
You meet the best side to the fire service, don't
I
you?
think that, and I said this to John recently about the diversity. I know buzzword bingo. The diversity that we achieve, we as a collective, as like a group in the challenge sector, what we achieve in terms of the people we attract. Most services would snap your hand off.
Oh, massively.
At how, but that is because I personally believe we lead with the metric of high-performing individuals step forward, please.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you get an attendance medal for showing up to the fire service, you know, and people are just like, anyone will do, really.
Yeah.
Have you got a pulse?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, where's the? You want it to be hard, because then there's a sense of achievement from being and standing shoulder to shoulder with men and women and going, we've all trained really hard for this thing this year and doing this. I think if you're anything like me, and I know we share these elements, it's like, you thought you would find this thing when you just joined the fire service in general, and you'd be like, I'm going to be around some savages.
We had the same conversation with Kush the other day.
And then you're like, oh no, I work with you.
Yeah.
I'm not better than you.
No, but
we're just very different.
But we look at things in different ways.
And also, don't hate the player, hate the game, because that's the metric the service has set. They've said, this is enough. And we've gone, that's ridiculous. That's not enough. 55 kilo casualties.
Yeah.
You know, what, 8 stone or whatever it is. I'm like, we're setting people up to fail, is my personal belief in that. We're having Rich Stevens on. You did through your degree. I don't know if you ever came across Rich. He did the original research on
his papers, I imagine.
Yeah, on the fireground fitness tests and all this sort of stuff. And I want to be able to unpick from him where we got this 55 kilo dummy thing from.
I don't know that either. Because
No.
it's the same.
I think it's come out of manual handling, but anyway.
The thing is with it is I find it really difficult sometimes because this job, when we say anyone can do it, anyone should be able to apply. There should be no barriers for entry, right? So that doesn't mean that everyone can do it. There's lots of jobs that I think that looks fantastic, but I couldn't do. Like I probably couldn't be an electrician.
No.
I couldn't
be a palliative care nurse.
Things like that.
Jesus Christ, that's hard.
It's awful, isn't it? Yeah.
That is rough.
You could say, oh, anyone can do this. You're right, anyone probably can. I mean, we can train you to do it.
And you'll be bang average at it.
But that's the thing but it comes a point where we're going to ask you to do things. Like we've all been to incidents that are particularly challenging, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know what you can stomach until you have to stomach it. And I find it really unfair sometimes where some services, they set people, it's like, hey, come in, we want you in. And they get in the job and they've kind of been told half-truths about what the job entails. Yeah. And all of a sudden they're on the back of fire engine to the first fatality. And it's like, I didn't know this was a thing. And no one's actually explained this is what you're going to have to do. And then sometimes, unfortunately, you're going to have to do some pretty rough things. And that's why I struggle with, because like you said, you end up setting people to fail. And it's likewise for the fitness standard. If you think that moving a 50 kilo casualties, that's my max and where I'm at, okay, that's fine. But what happens when you have to rescue a bloke that's...
Mate, forget the public. I always say to people, if we don't rescue the public, never mind. Like, they'll still clap. They'll say, oh, you know what, you tried really hard, whatever.
Yeah.
If I go down and you can't get me out, my daughter's going to be really, really upset.
Yeah.
And everybody will know you're a shit firefighter. Yeah, because you probably know that already, obviously. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that person's like, I don't think I could get Matt out. I don't think I could drag Dean out. Do you know what I mean? Well, I shouldn't need to. Of course you should need to drag Dean out. It's kind of hinted at in the guidance is that we will rescue our partner.
Drag me out and
But how often do we test each other doing that? And people go, well, no, we're not going to do it. Why are we not going to do that? What are you on about? What are you on about?
What's your annual fitness test at the moment? I mean,
13 minutes on it. So you can do this just the step test. You can do the treadmill test. Or they can offer you the fireground fitness test. But I know if we applied the fireground fitness test, we'd have a massive dropout rate. If we did a fireground fitness most test. People go for the treadmill.
It comes after the step test. If you fail the step test, it's then the fireground fitness test. But I think the step test is a very, very poor generic test myself. It doesn't test
1970s tech. It's
anything but someone stepping on a step. You know, it doesn't account for any other injuries that people could have or capabilities such as, like you say, lifting or carrying equipment, anything like that. And I think it's really poor. And it
also, just how we age as well. You know, it's something I've been speaking about certainly with women, but also with guys. And it's actually something me and Dean were discussing, like, as we are aging and you start to feel those changes in your body, everything feels a little bit harder, rest feels a little bit harder. You were on shift last night. You on days off?
I'm meant to be on. I'm on toil.
I suppose we work now.
So I'm always working. But I'm basically in between.
Shift work. There is so much study around shift work and the increase in all-cause mortality, and it's carcinogenic, and
like say increase of stress, cortisol, inflammation, all sorts of things.
What's your turnout system?
Lights come on, and then it's
The world ends.
so it happened.
that is lower then. So it is a.
Is it graduated?
We're all going to do the goddamn
No.
sounds, aren't we? It is that it comes up as a lower, like the swimming baths type sounds.
Swimming baths. What baths have you been to?
Yeah, you know when you know the sirens,
Like
and
a
then the
warning
wave machine
siren.
starts.
Oh, right. Okay,
You know, they have like centre parks.
okay.
Oasis or whatever.
We'd be hitting it
It's
with
not a
speaker
bell.
there.
It's not a loud bell anymore.
No,
Because they
not
did
a
just
bell.
have them during the night. Because you're going to ask the question around that
Yes.
bang cortisol.
Well, the reason why I asked this, right? So my previous service was light. The emergency light comes on, and by the time the lights come on, you're like, it's a shout. So
Yeah.
You're in bed, right? Shout, I'm getting up.
Yeah.
And then you get the bells, and they weren't. I can't remember what their bells sound like, but it wasn't that bad because you're already kind of awake.
Yeah.
Right. Transfer serviceman now, first night shift. I've heard the bells obviously during the days. Busy station. Lay in bed. It's like 10 to 12. No, sorry, 10 minutes past 12. Bells drop,
Yeah.
and it is ungodly. The speakers
Heart
in my
attack.
room, and there's a flashing red beacon. And I'm laying in bed in between the strobes. Like, what the fuck is going on? It was like a submarine about to like dive. And I remember getting out and like walking along shell shocked and being like, "Are the bells always this loud?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh yeah, it's fine, it's fine." They've since changed the.
It's not
tones to the-
necessary.
the
Yeah.
mobilised mobilised, But
Yeah, have they changed to that? Have they?
Well,
when I was at the air base, we worked there. When their bells would go off, it'd be the lights that would just come on, and then it'd be somebody in control actually speaking to you over the tannoy, just telling you what the shout is. So it's giving you the little bit of pre-warning as well of what
Less
it is,
stations.
where it
Easier
is.
to facilitate that problem.
Yeah. Whereas this morning we had a shout at 4:15, and I was in a deep sleep. I was dreaming, and it went off, and it was one of those where you get it. Your
Eye
heart
masks was
thumping.
on. If
smoking jacket, slippers.
Oh no!
I didn't have a clue where I was,
Yeah.
what I was doing, what my name was, what day of the week it
And the
was,
whole
or
way
anything.
finding disorientation.
And there I am, 2 minutes later in charge of an incident.
Trying to ride out.
Yeah, trying to get yourself dressed.
It's not good.
Belt snapped. And that might be a bit of Christmas weight I put on, but never mind.
So, is firefighting a job for life?
Oh, for me it is. As long as I can do it, yeah, definitely.
It will.
Not do you want to do it for life? Because that's an easy question. Because always there's no solutions, only trade-offs. So wanting to say, ride the trucks till I'm dead. Yeah, okay.
If it's-
What's the cost?
If it's a job for life, you've got to.
What's it
look
gonna
after
cost you?
yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to invest in your health
Yeah.
and try and buffer the effects of the stress and the cortisol.
Trying to stop the slide, aren't you? Or slow it down.
Yeah.
Punch the brakes as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, what gets me is the people who work whole time and then on the days off they're doing the retained as well, which I used to do,
Yeah, I did it for 10 years.
and that used to kill me. That did, to do the two. Yeah, I need my 4 days.
You ever
off
done
now.
it on call as well?
When I first started, that's what I did for about
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, how on earth does anybody do this?
Yeah, hats off
So
to
many
any
do.
person who does a retained. My hat
Hats
goes
off.
Yeah,
It's different kettle of
to
fish.
the commitment.
I'm not saying
they
they're not-
give,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not just their commitment; it's their family's commitment.
Yeah.
So- but yeah, like you say, it could become a selfish thing and detrimental, not just to their health, but to our health as well, to the family. And stuff as
That's
well.
the thing. So it's like
quality of life.
there's two sides of the same statement in my head there, where one side we go, acknowledge their commitment, but then the same breath I say, what's the family giving up?
The trade-off.
What's the trade-off?
Yeah.
Because it would take a very strong partner, man or woman, to say, when are you going to knock this on-call ridiculousness on the bloody head? And you're like, you knew it was going to be like that when you married me. You know I love it, whatever. It's not like you've got a hobby playing golf on a Sunday and I've got to acknowledge that. It's every day. Every day. And I see you
every
I
night.
see your wages. You're getting another £400 a month for it. What the bloody hell are you doing?
I must admit that when you look at how much they get paid and versus the time they do, the trade-off is pretty...
It runs on passion.
Yeah. And the thing is with it, we were talking about the other day about how many shouts a station gets and dividing them across the watches. If you go to like a fairly... my brigade, we've got a fairly busy on-call station. It used to be our whole time system back in the day.
Yeah.
And busiest pump for on-call by a long shot. And we averaged out, how many shouts are we getting versus them? And it turns out if you're on call for the entire time, you were getting something like, I think the average, like 20 calls a week.
That's pretty good.
Which is quite a lot for an on-call station.
Yeah, we were about 2 or 3 here. The station we're closest to now, there's 22 on-call firefighters there. And it's still a 2-pump on-call station.
Wow.
Busiest
That's
one
the same there.
in the service that we're in here.
And you think, right, if that person's on the entire time, that's 20 shouts a week. And we broke down, right, okay, cross our 224, how many shouts are we getting? It's like,
Yeah.
and 20 a week.
No.
And you can say what you will, but nothing beats exposure brings experience.
Yes.
And you can say there's a difference between them, whatever. I'm not going to stand here and say that, but of pure experience, there'll be some fairly experienced people working that duty system. And make
Very
it
true.
shout.
And they're bringing their life skills as well
Yeah.
for their jobs. You
Builders,
know,
plumbers.
electricians, mechanics are a massive win if you've got one of them.
Yeah.
You know, and electrical as well. They're the two
Yeah.
big ones. If you've got them on
You
your
win
retaining
it.
system, then you
We just aren't cracking the financial remuneration for it. And that is where I think we're really going to struggle with recruitment in it. Because also we're moving into like this
life.
global village where that's a different life. Like you and I, you're the youngest out of the 3 of us, but you'll have people where maybe your missus works in London, or maybe you like to go and visit your parents in Cardiff every weekend or whatever. You might not work where you live.
Yeah.
You might live in the Cotswolds and work in London. You know, so someone's like, oh, you know, do you want to be an on-call firefighter? And they're like, no. Why the hell would I want to do that? And that's what I think we're not going to be able to solve very easily, is because people really value their free time more. They're like, oh, we're going on a mini break to Paris this weekend. You're amazing. You go on loads of great holidays with your family, and that's and you got a dog and everything. But you know, I'm trying to as well. But yeah, a lot of people are balancing their lives very different. We're not just. How well do you know your neighbours? You might know your neighbours quite well.
Yeah. Know them both very
I don't
well.
know my neighbours. I mean, I've only lived there recently, but the whole like having a barbecue out the back, walking down to the local park on the way. I know society ain't doing that as much anymore. If you want to go out with Zoe or something like that, you're like, let's go to Manchester this week. Let's go and see our friends in Liverpool, wherever. Do you know what I mean? It's not
next.
Should we go and see Sally next door? If you want to put a shepherd's pie in.
Yeah.
It just ain't what society's doing now.
No. Industry's changing as well. So
Yes.
Like the day cover. So once upon a time, factories were there was more factories for one.
Yeah.
And people were more than happy to allow their on-call firefighters to go and attend fires and incidents, etc. Whereas now it costs them money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there could be a link in a work line somewhere that once that person's gone, that's it.
Yeah.
It stops, sort of thing.
Do you mind if I pop out in the middle of the day? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the line manager on line 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that canning
Wanna
line
shut it
turns
down
out
for
a
the
million pouches a day. You are not going anywhere.
It is,
We're on a skeleton crew as it is.
But then in my service, there's a particular manufacturing company nearby, and they had a significant fire quite a few years ago, and they still allow firefighters to respond because they've seen the benefit.
Yeah, they've seen the benefit of
I
it.
think it's that, but you're right. Most industries now, I'll do this thing. Can I at the drop of a hat disappear? Absolutely no way.
Yeah.
And I think that's the decline of it. And let's be honest, like you give a lot and don't receive that much back financially, maybe. Like in terms of what you do for the community and how you feel, I think that's where you make the most out of it.
I think you've got to do it because you love it.
Yeah, you have.
But that's where I think that's not
It's probably not enough.
fair, and I don't think that's sustainable.
No, it's
Because I think there is, and again, I know I get a bit extreme, but there's almost a relationship, a little bit of abuse going on there. It's a bit like if a partner
a lot of goodwill
says, "Oh, Dean's my husband. Dean doesn't own as much as me, or doesn't really look after me very well, but I love him.
Yeah,
I just love him so much.
so
So it's okay. I just love him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've met Dean's partner. He's lovely. That's not the case still. But with the fire service, it's like, it's not, it's, don't pay me very well. The hours aren't great. The line manager's this or that or the kid. But I love it.
Yeah.
It's just the right screen. This isn't Cub Scouts.
Yeah, no.
It's not Beavers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We should be, we talk about professional firefighters. It should be a profession. It shouldn't be a hobby filled with passion.
Things shouldn't be done on a shoestring.
No.
Support people properly and train people properly. And that goes for whole time as well. Money's getting tight across the board for everything. And unfortunately, what's the first thing that goes? often training. All training gets cut down.
Equipment not being replaced.
Okay, so we can make things cheaper, or we can increase what we're getting in, because there's always two ends to this spectrum. So, talk to me about not first responding. What am I thinking about? Going out to what's the thing?
Cardiac care.
Cardiac care. Going out to cardiac care.
Co-responding.
Thank you, Dean. Talk to me about co-responding, because that's where I think we could increase how much we're getting paid and all that sort of jazz.
Spot it now. My union stance says no. It's one of them.
Do the unions say no? Or I think they say yes under the right circumstances. And then we struggle to get it past the line in terms of the circumstances and the remuneration and the pay.
That was the problem. Is that
we should be paid for it, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they should be trained for it.
Because that could bring more money into the sector if we were willing to do it.
I'm pretty sure, I'm going to go on a limb here and say Hampshire and Isles of Wight, they have a local agreement to do cardiac
Hampshire and Isles of Wight.
responding.
Cornwall have been doing it for 15 years.
Yeah, Lincolnshire the same, as in the whole time pumps. And
Yeah.
They're all trained up to like a,
Yeah.
I want to say technician level, but they're
I think
more
they're
qualified
EMT.
than applying.
So it's what the driver is. The driver of an ambulance is an EMT, emergency medical technician.
Yes.
They're not a paramedic.
No, but they can still do a little
done
bit
a thing.
more. But I'm pretty sure again.
Plasters plus.
Wow, yeah, and a bit more. But they get paid.
I don't know what it is.
They get additional pay. Locally
why not?
agreed.
Would you do it?
If they're going to pay me, but let's be honest, it's a tough spot, isn't it? Because to say no to it, it's pretty hard. I think all of us joined to do the right thing. We've joined to look after people and help people where we can.
Some people join to put out fires, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I did that too. That's pretty good fun.
Provisions have got to be put in place properly.
Yeah.
It can't be something that's just skimmed over, like you're just saying there. Gotta have
What
the proper-
provision? I'm going to play devil's advocate all the way through this. 'Cause
Training.
That's what I'll do. So
I
if I
believe
said
if
we're
we're
going to
gonna do
red one
this-
only, cardiac arrests.
So I believe
You're already trained.
I believe we should have. It shouldn't affect the fire engine. So they're going to get us to do that. I believe we should have 2 extra people with an extra vehicle,
Okay.
and that's what they respond to.
Why can't I send the fire engine?
Because it takes it off the run for what else it could be used for.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of this is papering over the cracks of what the state of the ambulance service is in.
It is. I absolutely agree. But they're struggling to recruit more people.
Yeah, I mean, you look at
We're
America.
becoming less busy.
You look at America; they'll have their own ambulances, won't they?
Yeah.
And they'll have people manning that for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that won't affect the fire engine.
Yeah.
Fire engine will be
They cross
still
crew it
available.
and they rotate through the crew.
Yeah,
So they'll always
I'm not
there's
saying
paramedics
2
that.
people. That's all they ever do.
No, yeah.
It'll be
Like a
you know,
special-
each
like a
day. Yeah, like a
specialist,
special.
Yeah, special.
Primary staff,
I believe it's got to be manned because you could be sent out all day long,
Yeah.
going from one medical thing to another medical thing to another one.
Yeah,
and
but
then
if
the
you only
fire
did red
engine's never
ones,
available.
I think it wouldn't be as many as you
Yeah.
think.
I think eventually it will come.
I think you will.
When does the red one?
You can either accept
But then that's
it
the
or it can be
problem when
forced
next
upon
thing.
you. And I think if we don't step into that of our own volition sooner rather than later, we'll end up getting taken over by Police and Crimes Commission. And they'll go, okay, you've had your chance. Here's the buffet of things the society needs. You're not willing to pick anything up. So I'll tell you what,
Here's this.
that's yours now.
Yeah.
And you're going to go and fit stairgates for Mrs. Goggins. And you're like, oh, can't I do the red ones instead? Now you've had your chance.
The thing,
We've just got loads more funding for new paramedics. So we don't need you now.
we're kind of protected with the grey book in terms of conditions. That's the current protection. But the
Yes,
white,
it is. But they can just keep ramping down how many firefighters you need because the
Yeah.
incidents are just going to go down.
True, and then the white papers makes a bit of a harrowing read in some respects. And that could change things. And I think ultimately things probably will change and have to change the like London, for example. I got some mates in LFB. When they ran the cardiac care thing, they said it was.
We have mates.
I've got some mates. More.
I thought we were just
Honestly, it's more than I can count, and that's the 7. But
Mates in London.
yeah, they were basically saying that when they did the cardiac care trial, it was insane. They're just so busy, but also part of the trial was meant to be they turned up and an ambulance crew were already up there.
Yeah.
So they're just there to be bods and do some compressions and help what they can. But so they got to the stage where they were turning up and they were the first in. And all of a sudden people are like, whoa, this is...
It's different.
Yeah. And I get that. And being a JO, having...
But if we're only cardiac arrest, then why wouldn't care?
But it's just, I just think...
But that's where it
I'm
starts.
putting a defib on.
Yeah, that's where it
A
starts.
trained
And
monkey
then-
could do it.
And then you be... Our brigade have done it in the past. It has stopped now, but they've gone to what they thought was a cardiac arrest and they get there and it's a 1 with 2 fake, stuff like that. Honestly,
I know.
it's
But then
bonkers.
for me, that just takes confidence in commander. I'm just like, this is not for us. Okay.
I'm going home.
Go on, well, bye.
Yeah.
You're waiting for a paramedic. You know, my brother-in-law, is a paramedic, and he goes to all that because he's a prescriber as well. So yeah, they go to the ones that try and take the weight off the drop-in centres, because he can go out and say, "Oh, Dean, you've got blood in your poo. Let me write you a prescription again." You know what I mean? But yeah, I think we need to confront that more. My words, not anybody else's. I think the unions need to participate more in solutions than just taking a knife to the fight every time. Love the unions, have done some amazing stuff for us, but sometimes I think you just make it really bloody hard.
Particularly, you've got...
And they've just had a new head, haven't they? You know, Matt, how long was Matt in for? 20 years?
Past, I don't know how long.
I think Matt was in for 15 years. I think it was
my time.
Yeah, 15, 18 years, maybe. Steve's new guy.
I think things will
Speaking
change.
to him on WhatsApp, he should be coming on.
That'd be interesting.
Cool. Yeah. No, he's not the type to throw salt at Matt. He's done loads of incredible things. But some stuff does need to change a little bit. We're speaking about you going on holidays and stuff like that. It's a leaf I've tried to take out of your book, more so this year, and it brings me back to firefighting. Is it a job for life in terms of the finances? Like with my missus, we talk about this. You know, your wealth is in your diary, not in your bank account. Yeah. And I'm like, yep, totally agree with that. And I'm very, very, very lucky. You know, High Rocks with Helena the other week. Some cool stuff coming up next week. She's been invited out to Germany. Ricardo Weaver's just invited us to Sweden to do some experiments out there. All of this stuff is really, really cool. But finance is a very real thing.
Yeah, it is.
You know? And that frustrates me about this job sometimes, because I don't necessarily want to go. I've always said about you, you're the sort of person I think would be a great chief fire officer. Just you look the part.
I'll take the pay
Dad's
now,
had a great career. You've got great standards, great more. You know, I've blown smoke at brass before, but it's like, I don't think you have an appetite for that.
I think, hey, it'd be nice to have influence, but I don't know how much influence they have. And ultimately, it'd be great.
Some of them feel like they have very little.
Yeah, and the pay would be great. Well, not that. The pay would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But to get
worst paid ones are 110k, I think, aren't they?
I take that every day to the bank. I could be quite unhappy with that much.
Yes, but if it costs you your peace of mind, it's too expensive.
That's the trade-off, yeah. I think...
Because they're not just doing the same as what we're doing and being paid more. Yeah. They're on call. I just had retired chief of Lancashire on the other night. Jesus Christ, I've forgotten his name already. I'll pull it up in a minute. Justin Johnson.
Okay.
Just retired from Lancashire. Awesome bloke, but he was National Fire Chiefs Council lead for like 10 years, and he was 17 years as a principal officer or something like that. And he was like, you're forever on call. He says, I flew back from 3 or 4 holidays, things he regrets. He didn't say these like, I'm so disciplined. It was like, that was stupid. But then, like the cost he's asked his wife to pay unknowingly, because she's like, oh yeah, God, someone's died. Someone's always dying. Yeah. Someone's always dying. It's not my fault.
I think you're the figurehead, aren't you? And I think your partner's got to be quite receptive to that. I think the further up you go, the more responsibility you carry. You might, but
yes,
you
ultimate responsibility
in a different way. Yeah. But I think
I've got debts.
Yeah, but I think. But then, how good does it look if the chief turns up? Not a dep, not an assistant chief, but
if a firefighter has died, chief needs to turn up. 100% chief needs to turn up, or they've been injured drastically. Got to be there. Other stuff, major flooding, meh.
Yeah, I think I'd just be nosy. If I ever got to that stage where I could just, if they gave me a
car,
know. And say, Matt, by the way, something happens on this radio.
Dan Stephens.
Mate, I'd be there.
Dan Stephens.
Rock up.
On his radio all the time.
AFA, he said, well, what are you doing?
Yeah, he'd turn up at level 1 incidents all the time.
But then I think now, naive, but why wouldn't you? But actually, when you reach that stage, you probably wouldn't. You'd be like, I'm sick of this now.
He did, but he also regrets it. And he questions how much growth did he limit other people. Like if I'm the chief and I say, you might take it well. You might go, I'll tell you what, Dean, let me tell you about this. I'm interested. Or they might go, tell me considerations, might tell me your tactical priorities. What have you done? Have you considered it? And you're like,
but then it becomes,
do you want to take over?
It's got to be, it's case by case, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all know there's some officers that turn up and think, oh, flip, here we go. Other ones sort of thinking, right, sound, they've turned up.
Yeah.
There's a different, but that's just people, isn't it? You could work in Tesco's and have the exact same experience.
The long screwdriver manager.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think though as well, because I'll keep bringing it back to yourself, Dean, the way you prioritise your life, I really admire. And I don't think it costs you as much as I thought it would in terms of like the things that you achieve. Because like you seem to do a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, I try.
You don't seem to achieve a lot less than me in the other things you do in your life. So I'm like,
life's all about balance and moderation and stuff, isn't it? And I've been lucky that my previous job to being a firefighter, I was a postman, so it was early morning starts, but early finishes. So I got to pick my kids up from nursery, spent so much time with them, and then obviously being a firefighter now, 4 days on, well, 2 days, 2 nights, 4 off. I get to pick them up from school, do a school run. But the worrying thing is it goes so quickly. So quickly. I mean, my lad this year, he's going to be 18.
He's going to university.
He's going to America.
seeing his American football pictures. I was like,
talking.
oh my God. But that.
And I'm trying to, at the minute.
So many parents talk about that.
Yeah.
Dude,
Don't take away from what you and your missus, the time you've had to invest in that. Because he's just a kid. Like, I could say to my daughter, oh, you just got to really want it. Yeah, okay, Daddy. But like, I don't know these people. How am I going to ring these people? I can't go, oh, yeah, I can come over to California for a visit. That's the thing. The family is investing in this.
Yeah, definitely. It's costing a lot of money as well. And it's money I haven't got. It's money, but it's money I'm going to find. Yeah, I will find it. I will earn it. Awesome. And he will go there. You know, we've started paying.
Have you joined his pyramid scheme yet? Do you want to?
No. What is it?
It's so good. I'm on level 5 and I feel better.
Yeah, I've not received anything.
I feel
I've lost a lot.
You feel different though, Matt. You feel different. I've reached enlightenment.
I can't wait. Is it energy, Bonnie?
So tired.
Yeah, he's selling it to other people.
It's hard to sell. But what an awesome experience for him.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant. Yeah, and like I say,
that is huge.
We're counting down, obviously, the months, the weeks, I mean, how quick has this year gone so far?
Yeah.
July's going to be here like that.
Yeah.
I know.
It's going to be off, and I can see already he's doing it, and I'm doing it subconsciously.
I think Firefighter thing's next week, isn't it?
I
think Firefighter thing's next week, isn't it?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry, rabbit hole. But you just when you go out quickly, freaking November we were talking about that. I'm like, that's happening.
We were talking about playing golf, weren't we, the other day? Or I was, at my age, back's killing me and this and that. But that's his new sport that he's sort of taken up, and we're spending a lot of time together doing that.
Your son is playing golf?
Yeah. Just took it as a hobby. You know, we're not great at it. I'm certainly not great.
He's a handicap, scratch handicap.
But how do you do that mentally then? Because if I was him,
what he does is he owns a golf club.
Is that what it is? Right. Okay. I've heard of it. I've not seen it. But come on, you and I morons. No, but like what I'm saying is, you've been told you're really good at something. You're going to go to America to do it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I'm not picking up another sport.
But
I'm just going to do this till my eyes bleed.
But that's why we're sat here, mate.
Yeah. That's why I'm still a firefighter.
He's seen the golf courses out there and he's thinking, I'm going to have a bit of that on my days off. So, no. But coming back to how quick time goes, especially with the children. So my daughter's 16 now. She's doing her GCSEs this year. They're doing a yearbook and they've asked for a photo between the age of 0 and 6, so they're going to put it in their book next to their photo that she was on today, actually, the school photo. And there's holidays on there that seem like a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. She was like that. And I play the videos to it, and it's honestly, it was a little bit heartbreaking last night when I was going through them. Like
the realization.
Yeah, this has gone so fast.
Wow.
And I'm one of the lucky ones who's got to spend a lot of time with my kids, and that'd be my biggest bit of advice to anyone who has children or families. Spend time with your children.
Yeah.
Because it will go so fast. And before you know, once they get to teens as well, there's that little bit in the teen years where they don't really want to know you too much and that hurts a little bit.
Just
they come right out of it and they want you back, especially when they want a bit of the old money.
She's been around there doing a lot of tasks lately. I'm like, I don't need anything doing. She's like, yeah, you do. Come on, I'm sure you need something doing in the garage. I'll wash another thing. Will you give me £3 for washing the pots? No,
mate. I've just found a job for my daughter. I was sick of this constant. Dad, I need money for this. I need money for that. Go and get a job. She half-heartedly tried.
How old is she?
16.
16.
So I went out and I found her a job, and I've got one.
Can't get paper rounds now, can you?
No.
There's 30-year-olds doing paper rounds, so you can't get on the list for a paper round at 13 anymore. You know, you used to be able to go and work.
Who has a paper now?
You used to be able to go and work on the market. Markets are gone.
Yeah.
You used to be able to do a pot washer in the back of a restaurant.
Yeah.
Now, child slavery will be onto you. Do you know what I mean? But I worry about that because I have exactly the same conversation with my daughter. You know, is don't be gimme. You know, don't be what life owes me something. Yeah. I'm like, every time she asks me, Daddy, I'm like, don't say, Daddy, what can I do for you that's worth £2? Don't say, can I have £2? Because the answer is no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say ask better questions and life will give you better answers. You've got to ask a better question. It's the same with that when you go to a promotion or when you're doing a podcast or whatever. It's like ask better questions of life and you'll get better answers. If you go, why didn't I win the British Firefighter Challenge? Your mind will think of loads of stuff. Oh, it's because you're a piece of shit, because you're rubbish, because no one really likes you, because you're really lazy or whatever. But if you go, what could I have done better, in preparation for next year? Your mind's a great problem-solving little machine, isn't it? It'll start running through all of the things you could have done better. But you're absolutely right, and that's what echoes me back to that chief fire officer analogy. Is like the only people will remember that you stayed in every night or you worked late at the weekends are your kids and your missus or your husband. Do you know what I mean? No one is going to stand outside headquarters and clap for you when you. There's so many people retiring now. I mean, you must get a retirement email every week. Yeah. I do, and then they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. It was here long before, as it will be here long after.
There's a trade-off in there. Because, say, example, like you worked, I don't know. I've never worked a proper job. I've only been in the fire service, so this is me going on a limb. But say, example, you ran a successful car dealership, right?
Yep.
You're the manager, and you're on the same salary as a chief. How much different would that be? Is it the responsibility? Obviously, the responsibility in the position gives you the pay. So I'm going to pay 150 grand a year.
Yep.
I'm going to have to make some sacrifices.
Yep.
So then it's that trade-off, and that can you justify the trade-off for the money? Because the money is more fun tokens. So I can go and have more. You can have a more comfortable life, nicer holidays, whatever. And I'm not saying that's the be all and end all.
Do you know what that number is? So there's a graph.
There is, isn't there? Yeah. How much when it cuts off.
Your happiness increases with your income up until about 70k in the UK.
Yeah.
And past that, it kind of steadies or drops off because you just invent new financial problems to solve. But it says that if you can earn about 70k as an individual, so it's about 130, 140k as a couple for a household, if you wanted to do it, you should be able to afford a nice enough car, go on a holiday a month, live in it.
Month?
Right, well, I'll start. Do you know what? When I get there, I'll tell you how I feel.
You can. You just downgrade it loads now.
Skegness.
I went to Bruges in France in December. Where have I been in January? I'm anywhere abroad in January.
Oh, you've ruined it, mate. That's it.
Jesus, blew it out. Well, I got 2 in December.
I've doubled up.
No, I went to Rome in January.
There you go.
You did,
Yeah, I went to Rome. But that, and just total transparency, I'm not saying it because you sat here, said about you, and I'm like, that's probably the one benefit social media can be, or I'm like, I want to be more of this, and it's not an intelligence problem. I'm smart enough. I just clearly don't want to do it enough. Yeah. Otherwise, I would be doing it. I don't live in South Africa or Kosovo or North Korea where these things are not accessible to me. I live in the bloody UK. Yeah. I won the global lottery. I was born here. Yeah. Well done. And then what are you doing? You're just stuck on a little hamster wheel.
I guess it's just justifying to yourself, isn't it? It'd be nice to go and see the world and do bits and bobs, but can you have you got enough fun tokens to go and do it?
Depends how you want to live, though. Like we were just saying about, I've moved from a house that's about 20 minutes away from here, that's at least twice the size of it, with a double garage and blah, 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 blah. Has my life changed that much?
Not probably, yeah.
Well, I'm not married. Well, I'm still married at the minute, but I'm not lying down. But it's going to be a lot more expensive. But in the principle,
yeah.
Someone said it to me ages ago when I bought that house, actually. They're like, really love your house, Pete, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, do you know what your house is about a month or so after you've moved into it? He says, well, this is the place you live.
Yeah.
It's just the place you live.
Yeah.
It's just more rooms or different stuff.
Yeah, it becomes a normality.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Bricks are a house. You know, it's the people that makes the home, all that sort of trope.
It
but it is true.
Yeah.
And I used to think about my brother and sister-in-law. They seem so head over heels in love. You know what I mean? And that was, and again, not getting into my whole thing. My ex is a wonderful, wonderful, gorgeous, really nice person. It just didn't work for us. Neither of us did anything wrong. But the point I'm making is, when I used to see them, that was when I was like, yeah, damn, I'm not in love.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Being happy with what you got and appreciating what you got as well. I mean, we looked at moving a few years ago. We wanted something different. We kept seeing all these people with these extensions and the big bifold doors and back. Oh, I want some of that. And we looked at how much it was going to cost them. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'd rather just stay here. We've got a lovely house, lovely home.
Yeah.
And it is a home.
Yeah.
I'd rather get that mortgage paid off.
Yeah.
And once that's paid off, use that money then
Go and see the world.
to go and see the world instead of, if you come around and see my bifold doors, or if you see my,
no one cares. No one
cares.
Nobody
and it's so hard to get your head around. But we don't want to. We don't want to live longer. We want more experiences. This is what I've realised.
Yes, definitely.
Because when you talk about the years, you were just talking about your daughter. Talk about the years. You leapfrog. It's like a photo album. You go, oh, Spain. Oh, we went skiing.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the dog. Yeah. It's experiences. We want more experience. We don't just want to live longer.
No, you want
some
more.
arbitrary number. We want to squeeze all of that into as much of life as possible. Yeah, you're right. But that is so hard to do that mental shift, I think.
I remember going to the Safe and Well in a caravan park. Like a nice, oh, that sounds bad, but like a more
Nice
kind of
Gucci one.
established one.
Yeah.
Talking to the couple, both ex-RAF officers.
Yeah.
And gets talking to them, like, I'm interested, where did you serve? They told us, okay, how come you're not living around there? So, well, actually, basically got fat pensions and we spend most of our time on holiday. So we don't really need a big house. And they said, when we had a big house, it was empty anyway. The kids have moved out, they live elsewhere. So we downsized to this. It was nice, don't get me wrong. It was like a 2-bedroom one, living area.
They're on a 50% pension, I think. My ex-missus, her dad was a wing commander in the RAF. And he had a 70 grand a year pension.
Just chilling. And they're just chilling.
The old pensions are different, aren't they?
Yeah, different world. Then it's like
Different.
We said, we paid 60 grand for this outright, and
Yeah.
then we just go around the world. I thought, well, actually, there's a little base for them to come back.
Yeah.
They get the post, but they spend most of the time away. I was like, what more do you need?
What a life, yeah.
Then how much time have you
Quality
really
of life.
spent in your house? Realistically, I sleep in it.
It's all about experiencing, and this is why we like I said to you earlier, I'm going to find this money for my lad to go out and do it. He's had this offer. How can I turn that down? How can I say, no, you can't do that? Do everything in my
We've
power
all
to
got
and
to
have that
spend money.
experience. Go and live in America
Yeah,
for
wow.
half a year, training as an athlete,
Yeah,
studying.
it'd be awesome.
Opportunities,
Freaking
avenues
huge.
it could open.
Yeah.
And the people he meets.
But just the way he views the world.
Yeah, the way he views the world.
You know, his appreciation of what is possible for him.
To experience, living abroad.
And there's always spare money. Like, touch wood, if Zoe got some horrendous disease tomorrow, hopefully, and they said, oh, she needs a special medication, it's not free on the NHS, we need £300 a month, you would find it.
Yeah.
You would find it.
Way, yeah.
So you go, well, where is that 300 quid now? It's
Somewhere
things and stuff. It's that drink on the side and the Costa every week and the Netflix and
just
the
breaking
2
things
gym
down to
memberships.
what
And
you
you're like,
need,
what is this shit?
Cooking 4
This is
different meals
stuff.
at night.
Yeah.
Just having one. This is what we do. You know what I mean? It's like, the missus will have.
This is a really old house.
My daughter and son don't like the same things. Wow. It's like, things have got to change.
Yeah, princess treatment. You're like, how much do you want to go to America?
Exactly,
This is a really old house and the energy in it's rubbish. So when my missus is here and she's like, I'm doing some rice. Like, how much shall I do? I don't understand the question. Do all of the rice. We're paying to cook the rice. Cook all of the rice. Cook the
bag?
whole bag of rice.
Kilo?
Yes. Put it in the goddamn fridge. I will eat that in 3 days.
Yeah,
Only reheat it once because rice is a bit funny and all that sort of jazz. Same as when putting the oven on. I'm like, bang that chicken in as well. And bang them steaks in as well.
Whilst you're
Because I do a lot of cooking. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, we're paying to do it.
Yeah, okay. When you put it like that makes sense.
But there's also a line of not being a complete moron, like a washing machine. This is a sad out. I looked into this. You know when you're like, I need to wash that hoodie. Yeah, I'm not going to put it on its own. It's not waste. How much is a wash?
I don't know.
I
7p?
guess.
7p.
No idea.
Doing a wash is about 10p.
10p?
Yeah. So when you say to yourself, hey baby, right? When you say to yourself, I'm not putting it, it's fucking 10p.
Yeah, well, mate,
The dryer, dryer's a whole other game. It's about £1.13. Dryer's in the garage, dryer ain't getting used. You could bloody hang it, put it on the damn radiator.
Wear it,
Wise
put it
old
back
man once said to me, look after the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves.
Yeah.
Look after those pennies.
But I refuse to be someone that moans about washing. But anyway, get us back to fitness for a second because we're talking about some of the competitions. I wanted to do a rundown of all the competitions that are coming up this year, but also I want to start with the framework of being an instrument, not an ornament. Now, I used to do ornament style stuff, as in like, oh God, I need to look this way and I need to get the 8-pack and we like that a little bit. It's nice for the ego thing, isn't it? All that sort of stuff. But really what we're competing in these days is all around functional fitness. It's performance, it's specificity for the job. Like, why do neither of you do bodybuilding? Why do you think this thing matters? Why do you enjoy it? I know we spoke a little bit around it earlier.
Bodybuilding, I used to do a lot of that when I was a kid. Never ever competed because I thought, nah, it's effort to get that lean. I mean, Jamie's done it in fair play.
Yeah.
Quite a few mates have done it. I just haven't got the
It's a lot of commitment, isn't it? A lot of
yeah.
commitment, a lot of effort. You can't back off from it. It's not just going to the gym, it's the nutrition side.
Yeah, it's the
everything that goes with it. And then
Total transparency from my
you've got-
background.
you've
No jab
got,
at Jamie, but
genetics as well plays a massive part in it. Some people
it's
can look
massive.
at a dumbbell
And it's
put it
drugs
on.
these days. It's can your body tolerate the drugs?
Yeah.
And are you willing to do them? It's
That's
okay
the
if you're not,
trade-off, is-
but that's fine. No one remembers 13th place because no one cares. No one cares. That's the
did.
reality of it.
Yeah.
That's fine. I never did it. I competed in strongman, and the best I ever came was second. And my body just couldn't tolerate the drugs. I was taking steroids, growth hormone, I tore my pec off, prolapse disc in my back. My body was just coming apart at the seams. That's why you scared me when we were in Saudi.
Oh, man,
and you were like,
spoke about this.
"It's a massive deadlift." And then I went and benched 150 kilos. I'm like, why? Why would you do that?
'Cause
You've
that
just
part of-
flown all of this.
Yeah, but there's that
Just because
dark
Mark's
side.
doing it,
But Mark's
I don't care.
strong,
I
mate.
know.
He-
Monk strength.
Well, you was doing that out in Saudi, were
He
you?
was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Before they did the TFA, they were like, "Oh yeah, I went to the CrossFit box today.
Oh yeah, I
trade
remember
off.
that.
Power
I did
cleaned
that.
130
That was
kilos.
when I
went
went
to
to
the
already
sauna.
bottomed out.
Retard.
I couldn't go. I knew I was done. I couldn't actually walk, but I could power clean. And I started doing it. I was like, you know what? I can't
Good
do
at
anything
this.
else. This competition's gone terribly. I'm just going to stand there and do this. And then went and bench with Mark, and Mark was benching like 170 Ks.
I know.
Mate,
Chest, didn't
I
he?
could not
For an
believe
endurance
it.
athlete.
For an endurance,
He's got
he
it.
is the
Yeah.
ultimate
I
hybrid.
thought he was joking. He's like, well, which one on it? I was like, I don't know, mate. What is he put 140 on? I was like, do you want any more than that? I was like, no. I did it for like maybe 3 reps. He's like, what do you want? He's like, I just put 15s on. I was like, what instead of? He's like, no, top off. I was like, fucking hell. He puts it on, bangs out 3 reps. I was like,
that's
He's
scary.
got silly amounts of press ups as well, doesn't he? I'm sure he was saying to
Yeah.
out there, he's like hundreds a day.
Dude is
stuff like that.
strong.
Yeah, he's strong.
He
He's
is.
a fit man.
yeah, he's a different caliber. Hell of a funny guy as well.
You know what though, and he'll say it
He's
himself.
awesome.
Brilliant.
Mark,
Good photographer as well.
Yeah, man,
I've been on the SAS thing. That's when we talk about potent but toxic fuel. Like Mark went through, he's been on and spoken about it, so I'm not going to repeat it in great depth. Obviously, he was head over heels in love with his wife who passed, and he was just alone for like 15 years. Probably not quite 15, at least 10 or 12 years. And I think he's recently with somebody, which is great. I think it's going really, really well. But he's just retracted from life, from reality, and that's what I think has been a great. I almost think of him as a Goggins type analogy. Do you know what I mean? Because with the ultra running, with the strength, I'm like, something is fueling that. And it's not inherently unhealthy, but I know he's got some serious demons, and he's driven by so much love and remorse about, you know, not getting, because it was the happily ever after. He was absolutely besotted with her. She was a wonderful lady. But that's that sort of toxic fuel. But he's an awesome bloke. He does some incredible stuff. When he did the world record London Marathon under air, oh my God, just 16 cylinders. I was like,
seen it thinking,
How's that even possible?
done. But then you meet the bloke, and the best thing about it is most down.
so unassuming.
Yeah, he's the most down.
So humble.
He's awesome.
He's just like, I love him. Absolutely love him.
With the TFA as well, I was like, how do you think you're going to do? He's like, yeah, be right, see what happens.
Yeah.
And he just turned up, and I was like, you've just smashed that. I was like,
Real.
I could probably get into this, but I'm not sure if I really
I
want
think
to.
it's interesting enough for him.
I'm like, mate, you could be an absolute.
Yeah, he could be. Especially for his age group. Is he in your age group?
No, he's younger than me.
Is he?
Yeah.
Can't be much younger than you. But anyway, so the challenges this year, usually we've always had the British, then we had the Cheshire come along, then we had the Welsh come along. What have we got now? I think there's going to be 6 this year.
So John said the other day he's going to be possibility of 8 regionals.
Regionals.
8.
Some are still a little bit of a lastminute.com organisation perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Oxford, Nottingham are sort of in there as well to be confirmed. There's a couple of to be confirmed in there.
Yeah.
South Coast.
So let's run down the ones we know about. So South Coast, Alan's come on. So South Coast is being held in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
What's the date on that one? Do you know?
21st of June.
It's my wedding anniversary.
You're
the first
great.
one. Yeah.
Another great little adventure for Zoe. She'll be thrilled.
Portsmouth's a lovely place.
Right, so I said to her, I said, oh,
It's 4-5-ish hour. You'll sleep. You'll sleep.
I said to her, like, oh,
We'll take the dog. It'll be
for our
great.
anniversary, I'll take you away. She's like, wow. And you can imagine what this is going to go. I said,
South
oh,
Coast.
take you away. She's like, wow, where are we going to go? I said, well, you know, I'll find somewhere nice. She's like, wow, it's really thoughtful. And then she's like, why? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, It might be. She's like, no fucking way. Our first anniversary.
I'm
You're not
standing
doing
around.
this. Yeah.
You know you don't have to do them all, don't you?
I'll bring the camping chair you love. You love the camping
They're
chair.
comfy. They are comfy.
Blanket, dog, wear your phone.
I mean, fair play to
I'm not talking to any of your friends. I don't like them.
Initially, she's like, nah. And then she's like, yeah, I can't really say no. So as long as you're organised for me to do something I want, like, from a student, I was like, right, okay, yeah, sound. So I think I've managed to skirt that one. So I might be there.
He's looking like they're taking the kit really seriously.
Oh,
They
yeah.
always keep putting little social media clips. What's going to be different? Is he doing a wall?
I don't know what he
No,
wanted to do.
no, I want to do that's been taken.
So you've got the big boxes. They're doing more loading by the look of it.
Yeah,
Throwing a ladder as well.
I know the
don't
course,
know
but I don't know
that.
if they wanted it announced yet or whatnot.
Yeah, screw it.
Dino's in. Let me tell you the full rundown.
This won't go out for a couple of months anyway. It'll be out by then, I promise you.
But it's going to be different. Though,
It's going to be different. Same as our course. Our course is different. It's got a touch of TFA in there.
I've seen the
double hose
yeah.
ball in there. So, it's a few little clues in the video that we've released.
He's
and
made
that.
some nice videos, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've seen that. They're good.
Yeah,
good.
so
I want to see the outtakes of you putting the phone down on the pier.
Just drop it straight
Falling
down.
over.
yeah. There's a good one with the helmet, the MSA.
Yeah, with the
thing helmet.
reflection
So I got
off
the
it.
Reflection. I caught an image over that on the left there, and I thought, do you know what? That'd be great if someone just rolling a bit of hose past there. And you can see the reflection, and you see the person coming rolling the hose as well. So
Yours looks like a really nice venue. Is it going to be held down there on that pier? Is it?
no, so that's so it's called Rushden Lakes in
Yeah.
Northamptonshire, 5th of July. Where we did a lot of that filming was just on the boardwalk. It's just going to be just off of that in the car park. They've got a central boulevard part to it. It's going to be great. I mean, the footfall there on a payday weekend is around about 37,000 people a day.
Wow.
Nice.
So there's going to be people there.
Yeah.
There's going to be
Wicked.
lots of people there.
You coming?
My sister lives in Northamptonshire, so yeah.
That's not a yes.
Yeah, I am coming. Yeah, yeah.
Wicked.
She lives right by it. So I
Yeah,
told
yeah.
her. Is it 5th of July?
5th of
It's
July,
in the
yeah.
calendar, I
Silverstone
think.
weekend. Yeah,
It's lovely.
yeah.
It's not obviously very far from here, as you know.
So it's lovely. Yeah, there's lots of
100%.
restaurants there, shops, restaurants, cafes.
Get
Yeah.
some new shoes before I go on the
Everything.
course. Can't wait.
Yeah.
So people that don't know,
Sketches.
they won't have seen some of the TFA stuff. So double hose ball. So it's going to be. Are they going to be connecting? How
No,
much are we happy to give away? So it's just going to be pick up
it's just run
over
pick
the shoulder
up,
and go.
over the shoulders and
Not
go.
putting them in anything. Not connecting them to anything.
No,
I know that becomes a bit
it'll
more of a logistical ball. Like, I'll have to get a truck to put them into, or a pretend hydrant to put them into.
Yeah. We're sort of limited for space, so we've still got a few. We've got a good idea what the course is going to be, but we've still got to do a little bit of testing with regards to side, make sure we've got enough room for 2 lanes. Obviously, it's safe.
Kaiser staying in.
Yes,
Wicked.
that'll stay in. So there's so much to think about. You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Isn't there?
right, you just pull those 2 bits of hoses out. Now, where are
do
they
we
going to be?
transition
What are they
to,
going to
yeah.
be in the way of? You've got to start running over them, and stuff. You'll be able to, the volunteers going to be able to start packing that bit
Yeah.
up ready for the next race, or they're going to be getting in the way. And so we've got to do a lot of.
People forget how much Chris and John, and to be fair, it's a real, to get your head around it is,
We thought
it's more than you think it is. People just say,
so
straightforward.
chuck
easy.
stuff down, a bit like a whatever course, and I'm like, no.
So
it's-
much red tape involved as well.
Yeah.
Procurements, anything like that. There's the new laws coming out for that this month, and there's so much to think about. But yeah, we've got the brigade involved. They're supporting us massively.
That's
Which is
wicked.
great.
Full support of the chief and
Yeah.
the senior leaders and that. So they're doing all they can to help us out. But we do know it's going to be done properly and stuff. So yeah,
Wing it.
It's
I want to see walls, or I want to see tyres. I want to see.
said this.
I want to see.
We're not mechanics.
more. No, but I want heavier and longer.
Yeah, but when have you ever carried a tyre at a job?
Doesn't matter. It's not the principle. I want, because I'm just being selfish, because like the Welsh, I mean, I know we did well at I know we did well at the Welsh, but like I don't think events like that are suited to taller, heavier athletes.
God, no.
Because there's running.
Yeah, mate.
There's too much running involved.
It suits more to like.
but then you two won it, didn't you? First and second.
Well, yeah. I'd probably the
Did
first.
we win first or second on the Welsh?
Sure you did,
I
didn't you?
fell over at the Welsh.
No, I think the lad I raced against took second.
No, James Sheen. I think I took second. You won this year, and I came second, and James Sheen came third.
And then we reversed it. at the
Simon
British.
Calvert,
You won the
he was up
British.
there, weren't he?
Simon Corvett.
Simon's
yeah.
quick, man. He should be. I say that sounds harsh. I want him to win the Welsh. Like, if I hadn't fell and he hadn't fell, I think he would have done it.
Yeah.
And I was gutted.
Yeah.
I was like, mate, if you hadn't, I don't know. I felt terrible because I was on to do a good time, and I thought, all right. But then he fell. I was like, oh mate, I stitched you up, and I stitched myself up like.
You do that though when you watch stuff.
Like,
you hate yourself, don't you? I think I tripped twice on the step. Well, I stepped on the step anyway, and I tripped twice on the stairs going up.
Yeah.
When we did ours, and you're like, oh, for God's sake, just
stupid
one
stuff. Go as well, don't you?
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah,
when it comes down to fine margins, it sounds daft. Like we'd say times to people, oh, I did this, and that person did this. Like, all right, okay, but they don't understand. If you're a second, if you're 2 seconds, that is literally first, second, and third.
My category was that.
Narrow.
So 45 to 49, you had Rob Budge won. I think he beat Lee Phillips by a split second.
Really?
Yeah, next was Ollie Mayo. It was about 3 or 4 seconds after that, and then there was me like 2 seconds after that.
Yeah.
So I missed all
and
that
that's
effort
as much
as I
as.
didn't even get on the podium.
Yeah.
You've got to be so confident
so
in
close.
what you do. So, like, when you throw the hose up, I'm like, you need to just
Do it.
know that it's done.
Yeah.
Don't go,
All
did it land?
hesitation.
No,
Yeah.
just go, dumb. And if you get called, that's it. It's game. It has to be all. And like when I saw you and Jack race ages ago, that was one of the tightest ones. And it's just like, you've got to be so much all or nothing, even to the point where you need to think you're about there with the Kaiser and just go.
Yeah, start heading.
And think they're not going to do me for this one because I think I'm about there.
Yeah.
And then again, that's all about drilling, knowing you've got to do at least 6 or whatever. And then you're like, I'm fine with that, because otherwise you are waiting for it. And then that's the hesitation. Even when you bring the thing over the top, you're like, am I getting it quite in the bucket? It's like, you just need to know. And you need to be already down that stairs before they've cleared you, and just hope that they clear you for all of it.
I did the Firefit in Munich last year.
Yeah.
And spoke to Bradley Dix, obviously we met in Saudi.
Awesome. And again, totally different athlete.
Yeah, but
He's not that strong. He's so fast though in his skills. Oh, he's very athletic.
He said to me, so
funny as well. His social media is hilarious, isn't it?
I messaged him and say, mate, I'm doing a Firefit. Got any tips for me? He's like, dude, I'm happy to help you. He explained some stuff to me. It was like speaking gobbledygook. And I was like, okay, I can't compute that, but fair play. So I did it. He's like, once you've done it, mate, send me your footage and I'll like just give you some feedback. And it didn't. I did 1 minute 34, which I was happy with. Don't get me wrong. I tripped on the stairs twice. And
Such tight stairs, aren't they? Firefit is so tight.
Yeah.
He said to
ridiculous.
me, he's like, he watched the video. He said, your bottom section was really good. Right, that was it. I was like, here we go. He's like, your tower could be worked on. I was like, what you meant to do? You meant to like one step to the landings and do this and do that. And I was like, yeah.
Thing is, those guys have got the towers out there. So if you follow him on Instagram and that, they've got the
every
tower
week
in their backyard.
at the weekends, they all get together. The towers stay up all the time,
It's
and they
same
run the drill.
dimension.
Run the
They
drill.
know
bang
exactly.
on,
They know
isn't it?
what foot goes where. Holding that hose
Just it
back.
is.
The first time I went up, I had the hose back on there.
Bang,
Turn it like that.
bang. Yeah.
The way you hold it.
Yeah.
You see Jared as well. He's
Yeah.
the same. They know which arm's coming over at the top to haul. They know
how
many
do
pulls
that.
they do.
But do
They
you
know where
care
the
enough?
box is.
I don't care enough.
If I
I'm
had
being
that,
honest.
I'd be all over it.
Well, if you have one,
Oh, mate.
local wherever.
I train pretty much every week now.
I know you do.
Because I'm like addicted to that. Because I'm like, I have to chase the demons away. And it's also, as hard as it sounds, right? For the last probably 4 years, I thought, oh, it'd be nice to win the British. That's a big over. I won the Welsh 2 years on the bounce. I thought, the British is what really matters. And obviously,
You won it.
yeah. And then, by no means am I saying this is the same, right? But I remember Eddie Hall when he won the World's Strongest Man. He said, I've done it now.
Yeah.
And I've never kind of got that.
No.
And all of a sudden, this motivation of like, I've got to do this. It just like,
Do you feel the
That's
pressure?
what
now?
I'm saying.
then you feel the pressure.
Yeah.
Being
because-
number one now.
Yeah.
Do you
There's
feel
only
that
one way to
added
go.
Pressure?
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah.
Because I'm training, I'm like, Cush is getting faster, and I'm kind of there or thereabouts, and it's like,
You're looking for such marginals.
but
You're
that's
looking
the
for a
problem.
split second.
If you make a single mistake, it is like, right, that's it. And then that kind of, but then part of me is like, there's two parts of me where it's like, right, now it's game on sort of thing. To be any good, you've got to kind of retain it. Like Jack, fair play to him, won it again on the bounce. That's a true champion, really. You can do. It's not a fluke. You've done it back to back. That's what you want to do. But then how would you?
There's no up from there. That's what bothers me. And that's why I'm like,
But then there's more challenges and there's more, and it's growing. And it's almost
it could
like,
be, and that could be your thing.
Yeah, and it
you're
kind of is.
gonna do all 6, or 8 this year, and go. I'm gonna try and win them all.
They're trying
feel like
to
a
do a league table, aren't they?
I know,
Which would be-
with all the
yeah.
regionals, and they all,
Which would be
then we
cool.
get the faster of the fastest
Yeah.
lead into the British.
And that would be cool. And I think it's one of them things where it's like I feel like I've peaked. Like, peak level of motivation.
But also, how old are you now?
28.
Okay, so you're all right. So like, for me, and I mean, there was some great athletes at the British this year. It's not to take away from the people that were there. I shouldn't have been second. I'm 35.
Yeah, but then
there should be
But
early 20s people should be winning this, really,
then
I think.
I think about that, but then at the same time I think, right, there's so much more to this than like a team sport.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to have the discipline in your head to keep your composure.
I think composure's
I don't
big.
think until, definitely as I've got older.
People get panicky. on
Yeah,
that.
and I still get
Stupid
it,
stuff.
but I kind of get a little bit more composed now, right? I can switch on. I remember listening to,
I get angry.
well, yeah. I saw you jumping around.
I was stamping my feet. I'm like, "Ah!" I'm trying to, and that's why I get the false starts, because I'm damn near ripping
you're ready
those
to
flipping
go.
things off. I'm like, come on.
And it's one of them things. I remember listening to George Kiddie, I think his name. He's a what is he? He's an American football player, plays
Yeah.
in San Francisco, and there's a series called Receivers on Netflix, and he's talking about like his mindset, and he's a really interesting dude. And he has all these like pre-game warm things of how he gets himself like in the kind of zone.
You want to be humming
But I've
with
always
motivation.
thought that's a load of talk.
Yeah.
It doesn't really exist. But then I thought, right, okay, if this dude can do it, and they're all doing it. All these receivers, they're all top.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
There must be something to it.
Yeah.
So I started trying to think about doing it, and it massively helped me like clear my head. Like we were, I don't know.
Do you have like a priming routine for your weeks now when you're like, okay, we've done some training now?
I've got it now, mate. I'm not smart. But at the time, what I'm telling you is, when I was like on it, it worked. And
Yeah.
and I remember like when it come to the British, I was nervous. We were warming up, and I was like, I'm all right. I'm all right now. And then it kind of went into it, and obviously everything just flowed, and it went well for me. But it's just like,
I need to get
nervous
on that.
now just
I need to
thinking
go
about
on.
it.
Yeah, I do. Honestly, sometimes I'm
horrible. Thinking
driving
about
my
it.
van along, and I'll focus on the course and this and that, and I can feel the adrenaline.
Because you've done it so many
start
times, you're like, I've come out the tent, I'm stood there. It's usually me. Like, I see Pete's just pointing at me. I'm walking out, I'm stepping up onto the thing. I can feel the steel under my feet. Everyone's cheering. And
I'm getting now. I'm getting all.
I'm feeling the rope for some reason.
Yeah, give it a bit of that.
What are we going to do if it's not?
What if it comes to shit? Oh, shit.
That's it.
But you do always like, is the car, right, someone has reset that? Am I happy with who the dummy is? And then you're like, fucking hell.
There's no worse feeling that when you arrive in the morning, you get yourself registered, and then you see you've got like an afternoon race, and you've got all morning, you're pacing up and down, you can't eat, you can't drink. But once you've done it, what a feeling.
Yeah,
It's
that's
such a
the
great
thing.
feeling. Afterwards, you can just sit back, relax, watch the rest of the show.
And you're happy to go.
Yeah.
I'll be interested as to how you find it when you do yours this year, though, when you run it. Because this is something, and I'll speak on behalf of the BFC team because they're not here and other challenge teams. It's like, yeah, all right for you. And I say that, but I'm like, yeah, it's your decision. You want to stand there with an idiot like a microphone all day. But that can't, for me, and when I'm watching people, before I've done mine, this year we're going to do them all hopefully the night before. We're going to set the course up, we're going to do the runs the night before. And if one of us gets a really good time, it would just...
Is that what you're going to do?
We're going to film it. I think, yeah. We're going to film it and do them the night
Makes
before.
sense.
Because, problem is, when I'm there in the morning, I'm like,
Yeah,
my run's in half an hour. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I'm a bit stiff. My back's stiff. I've been stood up for ages now. I've not had a drink.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
and I'm
hard,
looking over
yeah.
and I'm like, Matt's stood in it. Matt's sat in his lawn chair, ain't he? Got his bloody towel over his head. And that's his choice.
he's giving him a
And it's
massage.
your
Yeah.
choice, Pete, that you're doing this. You know, you don't have to be doing this.
Yeah.
So
I think when we do ours, for me, competing at Northampton will take second to the
and that's where I'm at with it. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
and I'll
kinda
have
have
to
to.
go away and enjoy the other ones.
this is getting so popular.
Especially
I'm
our
like,
first
I
one.
want to do, because I'm coming hosting with you guys. I'm going to come to Cleveland and host. I've spoke to Amy about coming and doing it for you guys. And I'm like, we have such a great thing that we can do here. It's way more important than any one of us individually. You know, if Dean has a really bad injury, I'm sure he'll still be involved in it, and vice versa. I'm like, if I don't win, doesn't really matter. But when you're chatting people out, and I'm like, you know, and because I know the backgrounds of everybody as well now, I'm like, I like telling that story.
Yeah, of
and I
course,
like
yeah, you got to
their
know
family's
everyone.
there. They've come to see him. And if some moron's just like, it's Matt Adamson, and it's like, no, that's not his name. Not his name.
Dean
Matt
Keeper.
Yeah, this is Matt's first time. No, it's not. No, he's won last year. You know, and I'm like,
He's a celebrity within
yeah,
this world.
I want to do that well. And I just remember Kev, you know, he'd do it so well, and he never really competed. He never competed. He was just an amazing host. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, That's the thing that I feel like I want to do more of. Anyway, we've been recording for like an hour and 20 minutes now. What you like on time? You need to get going, don't you? It is nearly 2 o'clock.
About 2:15.
2:15.
Yeah.
That's a nice
Right.
topic. We'll spin the dice.
Spin the dice. We've got Enduro Protect. We've got National BA Challenge. We've got professional development. There's so UK Pink Firefighters.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, what are you doing?
So what's the crack? What are we doing? Because you're
So
in
we-
charge of all the money now.
Is he the big dog?
He's the big dog. in
No, you
charge of
said
the money.
about-
I'm just a figurehead.
Found the way. Here we go.
So we decided.
These t-shirts. £2, please, mate.
Yeah, breast cancer now ain't getting much money. The sun's looking like it's getting on well in America.
Just in pink.
Wearing a lot of pink.
So Vendelin, acknowledge Vendelin firstly. Awesome bloke, amazing
Fantastic
guy.
bloke, yeah.
Did podcast with him 4.5 years ago. I joined the international team. And then they were like, hey, get some people from the UK if you want. And I was like, great. Got like 6 or 7 people. And then we've got more and more people that want to join. Some amazing guys and girls. But we had a cap on the kit. So loads of respect for the international team. Love them lots. But we needed to do our own thing.
So we could expand ourselves.
A bit more freedom.
Build
You know,
on it, yeah.
we want to get loads more people on board. We want to get Chrissy a proper kit. We'd love to get people like Matt on board. We'd love to have 100 pink firefighters doing breast cancer. But the blocker was the kit. So MSA have put their hand in their pocket and doubled down a commitment for us. Kit looks epic. Next week it is. We're going to go.
So you're going to come down to
Yeah.
my neck of the woods.
Yeah,
We're going down to MSA. Yeah,
Troy. I'm
Yeah,
going
you're still
between
trying.
nights
It's
again.
me and
It's
Ryan
such a
and
long
Chrissy, I'll
distance
say.
I'm going to need.
Me, Ryan, and Chrissy are going for the first kickoff, and we're going to be having 5 new pink firefighters every year.
Wow.
So we've got it guaranteed for the next 3 years.
That's
so at
awesome.
least another 15.
That is cool.
And we're going to do it at a ratio of 3 women to 2 men because we've already got too many blokes. We've only got Sarah and Chrissy,
Yeah.
ladies in the team, girls in the team, and we want loads more women. So we're going to do it a 3-to-2 ratio. Brand new kit. Gore-Tex are still on board with us. Hike still providing us with the boots.
That's cool.
We're just stripping out and changing all the kit, doubling down with the MSA.
I have a nomination that I'll speak to afterwards I'd like to put forward.
Please do.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of great ones amongst Danny Cotton and various others that are in and outside of the sector. Just
That'd be cool.
so we're trying to balance that in our heads around like we'd love for most of them to be Firefighter Challenge people, but then there's also the element of great ambassadors in this sector.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's open
100%,
now.
brother.
Yeah,
But there's so many people, even like Zoe Ebden and people like that,
Yeah.
and there's so many incredible savages coming through, especially in the women's divisions of Firefighter Challenges.
Which is cool to see.
It's so cool to see.
I almost think some
I think they're more exciting because there's so much more progress.
they're almost a bit more competitive
Yeah.
in some respects. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. But
think
also,
it
we
is.
saw where Helena, even though she's won most things this year, she's failed on a few things and she's had a few slow runs, even when she went out and did a TFA. And I'm like, so the ability for improvement is still massive because with respect to Helena, you couldn't look at hers and go, there's nothing she's not doing wrong there. No, she could be faster in loads of stuff. And she's still
fast.
Oh, she's still winning everything. But that's what I say that to encourage female
that's right.
firefighters to go. Don't go like. To be fair, you look at you or Jack or whoever else and go. I don't know where I would. There's no part of that person's room where I can go. Oh, they're absolutely terrible.
I can tell you where.
But you know what I mean. It's harder. It's harder to find.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah,
Whereas if you come to the British and some of the female athletes, it's difficult. It's not more difficult, but it is. It's heavy. Like the haul, and some of them can't finish the haul. Some can't finish the dummy, and you're like, there's a big gap here.
Yes, they're almost.
And I think that's why it's so much more exciting. Yeah, it's more obvious. So I think there's going to be some incredible stuff coming through from some of the women as well, especially as we're doing some more of the regionals now and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Rosenbauer, what's going on? So you're with MSA, Rosenbauer.
Rosenbauer. I can tell you about Rosenbauer.
So Chris is transitioning over through
to
do full pink. So she's going to hand in all of her kit.
is she?
Yeah,
Keep hold of it. Why would you give it back?
because we don't want people competing in 2 sets of kit.
It's MSA kits, isn't it?
It is.
But it's different.
But
MSA.
why would you not wear the pink stuff?
No, I agree with you.
So is it the same kit as what they've got?
Probably
now?
is X-Force. I imagine it is.
No, it's going to be the same as our kit.
Same as ours.
Yeah.
So it's probably
And
the
they're gonna
same
they're
stuff
gonna
we've
switch them
got in
out.
pink.
Yeah.
Nice kit. But either way, she's still it's still MSA.
It's still
Pink
MSA.
Firefighter, but she's still.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
It will be cool. Professional development. We'll close on that one. I think for me personally, every time I have new guests on and Ricardo and other people like this, the more I learn through the podcast, the more I realise how little I knew before.
Yeah.
You're in a WhatsApp group with myself with loads of national. Jesus Christ,
It's different caliber, isn't it? You
Different
thought you knew
caliber.
a little bit, and then people started talking about things. Man, I'm like, I've not ever considered this, but which is interesting. But the thing is, it comes back to the thing is that the more you know, the more you know there is to learn. Like if you're closed-minded, I know a few firefighters, like unfortunately, all they can see is like this, what they learned at training school.
Yeah,
no,
think
almost
they know
like
it all,
blinkers.
rest on their laurels, until they get caught out.
And then you get caught out, and it's like,
This is what I've noticed now because I've just gone through the promotion process. So
Congratulations.
Crew commander, thank you very much. And now I'm realising how much I didn't know, and how much I was resting on my laurels as well. You know, and just sitting back and thinking, I knew it all, think I've done it all. I haven't. And how much I've forgotten.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think like we need to remember more than we need to learn. Like someone again was pushed Dan Stevens' book underneath his report for the Welsh government, which is basically a BA training guide.
But how good is that report to open things up?
Oh, fantastic!
He's basically fair play to him. He's cast the thing. He's drawn the line and said, "This is where we're at."
Yeah,
honest and reflective.
Yeah,
things need to change.
But a lot of that is. We need to remember more than we need to learn. Because people go, oh, have you read this? Have you read this? And I'm like, yeah, that's from Grimwood stuff 15 years ago. That's the quadrant model from 10 years ago. And I'm like...
We're behind the curve, I think.
We're so behind the curve. And I include myself in that. I don't sit here, I never sit in my own self and go, oh, you're all stupid. I know everything because I've read stuff. I'm like, no, I didn't know either. You know, like, oh my God. I feel like we used to be at the tip of the sword of it. And now I feel like we're falling behind, and I worry about that. It really does worry me.
Well, if you look at like Ricardo, and I can't think of the gentlemen that they did a paper out of the Netherlands about using smooth bore versus gas cooling. I can't think of the gentleman's name. I think it might be Ricardo.
It was Ricardo Weaver. Has done a study on it.
I think either way, you read that and you think
Stefan Svensson, Carol Lambert.
Oh no, it's not
anyway,
Ricardo.
Yeah,
but either way. He's wrote this paper and it is like, it's gold dust.
Yeah.
You read it, it's fantastic. And all the experimental design, it's all
they spend so much on their experiments. That's not being invited to over in March.
Which would be awesome. But the thing is with it is that you think about how...
Do you want to come?
Well, can I come?
Yeah, you can come.
We've
got to pay for our flights.
As well.
They're not partnered with it, but I better get you that.
I mean, I'd love a tracksuit.
I think it's about... So we fly into the airport in Germany. It's only about 500 or 600 quid. We have to pay for the flights.
Yeah. And
they'll sort the accommodation.
That'd be cool.
But they won't. I was hoping to go with the HMI, but they couldn't get their head around, and I get it, and maybe we're not important enough. But they were like, well, you're not really belong to, obviously I work for a service. But when I do this thing, I'm not, they're like, oh, we'll detach you from it. I'm like, no.
It's just by myself.
This is just me with the podcasty thing, and I'll come and speak to the people and share the learnings everywhere. Yeah. Give it to the NFCC or give it to everybody. But you need to pay for me. Yeah. They can't work that because they never do it like that. They just go, you're from the HMI, detach you. You're from Wales, detach you. Yeah. No, I'm a weird person.
I'm the outsider.
Like, yeah, so they didn't know how to wear that. But anyway, sorry. So you read the smooth bore experiments.
Basically, you look at the experiments that are coming out of other countries, particularly Europe and America, UL, they are way, way ahead of us.
Yeah.
And you think about what...
Well, the fact they're actively doing experiments. We're not doing anything. Doing anything.
And I think the Fire College obviously teaches what they teach, and there's some phenomenal fire behaviour instructors there.
Yeah.
But it's still, unless you go and do a CPTI course, you're not being exposed to that. They're not releasing, and I get it, they're not releasing their modules online. It's hard to find this stuff.
Yeah, it's their intellectual property. And also, and again, I'll say it exactly as you did, they are fantastic people, but they are doing rinse and repeat. They're not, I don't mean they're stale, but what I mean is they're not researching. Yeah. And they're teaching attack boxes, and they're not. It's not the same. Like even if you go to Lancashire and do some stuff there, or you go to Manchester, Manchester set up, brick built buildings. It's entirely different. Yeah. You can't do all of this in demo boxes.
No, you can't. There has to be a change to it. And I think
that's what the Indies, like when you were doing the National BHR, that's different. Yeah. But even that, like because they had to curtain a lot of stuff off to try and bring down the ventilation profile of it, I was like, it's not quite where you want to be.
It's a good mix to have, but it's not there. But it's like Dan Stevens' report. Either his report or I heard him speak with Lars Axelsson. Yeah. And he said something about, is it Bjorg, the gentleman who invented gas cooling or researched it. Yeah. He said, we read page 1 and 2 and never page 3. Yeah. It's meant to be an operative that controls door ventilation, it's door control. Yeah. So we never did that. So we've learned this little bit, and then we spent the next 30 years teaching it without really teaching it properly. It's like you meant to have 70 litres per minute for your short pulses, then transition to 110 for long pulses and painting. Well, you don't get taught that.
No.
And I get why, because me being me, I'd twist it so far off, I'd rip the branch off. I get it, but it's just, you don't realise how much there is to these things until you start to look down, not even that far down, but you're trying to figure out where's it come from, why do we do this, and why are we doing it? And I don't think many people know. And that's not to say I know everything. I've not got the answers at all. I've tried to find them, but the point I'm trying to make is that you look at other countries, what they're researching, what they're pushing, how they're trying to go forward. I feel as if we were probably the forefront. We're now not. Yeah. We're now letting other people do the thing, and they're like, oh, we'll take some of that. And I think that's a real shame.
Comes back to, I think, a privilege of size. I think, like I say, we've scaled so much down to a skeleton crew in most places. Yeah. Our training centres are assessment centres. Yeah. You know, we're not spending time doing a lot of development. I think the few that are, I say Dave in Manchester, Lewis in Lancashire, places like that.
Things, and it seems awesome.
It is awesome, and it really frustrates me. But you go, they got lucky. They're also pushed hard in their own environment, but a lot of services you couldn't do that. But also, I don't like saying that because that's a negative mindset that justifies your not doing anything about it. Yeah. But I suppose my thing is that I enjoy doing this side of it, but I know people have this illusion where they're like, oh, Peter, but you must be doing all sorts of stuff in your service. I'm like, no. They haven't got the time. Yeah. They're all, a lot of them are great people, great firefighters, whatever. They haven't got the time, they haven't got the appetite, or they're just like, just assess them on a left-hand search for you. And I'm like...
It's the culture to it as well, though. You develop a culture, not bad or indifferent, but we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
To change that must be incredibly hard.
It's an accusation that we've been doing it wrong as well.
It is, yeah. And you think, well, I've done 30 years, it's not that, and it's never gone wrong yet.
Yeah, I'm not killing anyone,
will, but it's like, at some point, we've got to turn around and say, right, are we doing things right? Like that Dave said about the BA shuffle. I think it was Dave, and the gentleman from Tyne and Weir, I want to say, I read his proposal paper, and he's done some deep dive into where it comes from. It's like, well, actually, there's no real... There's like a leading fireman from the 1940s that makes reference in his memoirs about you can't see you lean back and shuffle. It's like, is that honestly where it's come from? And he's like, I can't find anything else. Right. It's a bit of a whim, that.
Yeah.
So it's things like that, but imagine trying to bring that in.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, you're going to stop your BA shuffle, and I want you to crawl around now in a tripod position. Can you imagine how many people would be like, I'll stop you there, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Even though it makes sense. Like
even though, like you say, you break it all down.
Exactly.
And you go, where's your visibility? Is your torch working up here? Where's your thermal imaging camera best? Where are you going to see a flow path if you're down? Where's where are you going to take the least thermal exposure, the least radiation?
Not there.
So it all makes sense.
But it's almost like I think it might have been Lewis said about it. He said about the transition between your search and rescues will be a shuffle, orientated search. Your CFBTI in the hot can is you get down on your knees and you crawl the entire time. So when do you ever get taught, like, bar it being hot and experience being my tabs are really hot, and I was looking to where with experienced firefighters when I joined that said, get your stand down, you're going to burn yourself, and now it makes sense. But if you don't get that, when do you get taught that? You don't.
No,
you don't get taught that. And things like lying on your belly to put fires out. I remember being taught, we had a fire once, and the bloke said, right, get down on your belly. Watch the fire. It was in a storage unit, and he's like, right, see what's happening. It's like, just put some water on. I said, no. Just give yourself a second. Yeah. See what happens. Let's see how the neutral plane effects. Right. Yeah. Ventilation's increased. It's coming up now. We can see the fire right. He's just talking it through. Yeah. Bearing in mind, there's like smoke pumping out, filling this storage unit, like a yellow storage building. Yeah. But if it had that, it's all right, go on your belly. Right, we're going to put water on now. It's a bilateral vent. It's all going to come out, but we're going to experience pretty much none of it. It's going to come out and over our heads. We're in the air track. It's right, have a go. So lie on the belly. Right, let's knock it off. She's like training me. Yeah. Meanwhile, like Echo's like, can you confirm the fire's out? Can you confirm? And we're just like, don't worry about that.
Ignore him.
How fortunate was I to have that experience? Not everyone's going to get that. But how do you then take that?
Because now training in synthetic smoke in a gas rig, someone says, "Oh, get down." You feel the difference. They go, "No." Not even that bloody hot, to be honest.
My back hurts now. I've sat down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just hurting my knees. Can I have knee pads? Yeah. Please? Because it's
a bit painful. This. And it's how do you link the gap? And I guess I don't know how you do that. How would you change that?
I think I've seen it again. I keep saying Manchester for some reason, but they are doing a lot more working on moving with a hose, moving with a main jet specifically. Because again, talking that area times 5 model
Tactical
about
flow rate.
taking the appropriate tactical flow rate depending on the wattage of the fire and the fire loading and all that sort of jazz. So they're doing a lot more work around moving with main jets.
Yeah.
And like John McDonough said, he's I'd spend the first couple of weeks doing that.
Yeah.
Maneuvering in a low position with the hose, because that's when it matters. Most of the rest of the time, it doesn't matter. And like we've said before, the public won't really tell the difference. Whether you keep it to the room of origin or you keep it to the first floor, the public's still going to clap.
Yeah.
But it's all of these marginal gains where you go, no, we could have held that. We could have held that to the room.
Mate, like we had a car fire last week, and I was driving because I'm not driving a long time. I was like, you know what? Normally BA1. I'll drive tonight. Let them sit in the back.
How have your eyes been?
Fine, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah, perfectly fine.
Random question, because I know you had them done ages ago.
Yeah,
Have
perfectly
you never had to revert back to glasses? Only because I was thinking about it a little while ago. Random.
Was that laser?
laser.
Yeah,
That's
lasers,
why I had
yeah.
that as well.
Have you?
Yeah, before I joined, I tried to join
And how's that helped?
Cambridgeshire and I failed the medical on eyesight. So I went out my eyes done and they said try again in 12 months' time. Best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Best thing I've ever done. So
And that was...
been 11 years, so probably 12 years
And you've not
ago.
felt regression? I mean, it will regress at some point because it'll macular degeneration.
Yeah, just naturally what you lose.
It will do,
What
yeah.
you'd lose anyway.
yeah.
So it's not because you've had them done or
No,
anything.
no,
like
no.
that.
It's not a result of that.
Procedure.
It's just
No,
pushed
no,
it
no.
further down the line.
Yeah, yeah.
But you
Starting to
wouldn't-
lose a little
certainly go
bit
for it,
of hold things away, but that's my age, and that is normal. That's
Yeah,
what
exactly
they
that.
said.
That's just the same for me.
When you get to your mid-40s,
You'll need them.
yeah.
I keep flirting with
this.
it. But anyway, sorry, you were driving. the other night.
So I was driving, it comes a car fire. I thought, chances are it'll be nothing. Turned up and it is going well.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, reel comes off 2BA. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bowl a 45 out here and give it to the second. But I was like, bowled it out. I was like, take that. Like, what? Just take it. Just take it.
Yeah.
Knock the fire out in about 10 seconds flat.
Yeah.
So why have we've always looked at hose reels,
Yeah.
or I'll give you 45. And realistically, that car is never going to go back on the road.
Yeah.
But the environmental impact,
Yeah.
burning all that stuff,
Yeah.
we've knocked it dead in about 10 seconds flat for the 45. Bit overkill, but
Also, reduce the amount of time you need to be around it.
exactly.
You haven't got to stand with your head over it, leaning in the door
Yeah,
to
just
get the hose reel
knocked
in.
it back, and 45's manageable.
Yeah.
Literally bowled it out, charged it in about 10 seconds,
Yeah.
fires out in about 30.
What mil is your hose reels?
19s.
So
That's
22s,
now.
yeah.
yeah. So you've got double the flow, haven't you?
Yeah, massive difference.
And that's
it's
probably-
not taking a jet in,
Yeah.
but you've got the manoeuvrability
And that's
as well with it. And
Probably
make a
will
massive
change when we
difference.
get them, but I just thought, why not give it a whirl? And it's one of them things. I looked at my I was like, just take it, just have a go.
Yeah.
And at my watch commander, he's like, "What's that for?" I was like, "Just trying something." So yeah, sound. Don't worry about it. And that was, like I said, it's never going to go back on the road, but it's all right. Okay, we've got to still worry about the environment and the fact that it's in a cul-de-sac and the neighbours are like curtain twitching, thinking my car might be next. So we've there's so much mitigation to it, but I thought, why not give it a go?
You and Sam both stepped into crew commanders last year.
Yes, last year I did my competency yesterday and passed my competency. So now,
Congratulations,
thank you very much.
brother.
Yeah, thank you. That was an ordeal.
Was it?
Little bit nerve wracking, isn't it? You're going to be assessed by people that I know fairly well, and they come along and it's like, right,
Is this an incident or a training session?
both. So I had to do an exam, professional discussion, drill.
Exam?
Yeah, it's a technical exam.
Wicked.
Yeah, so
What was in it? Give us a clue of one or two questions.
on there. It's things like going to a high-rise fire, fires on the ninth floor.
Okay.
Where's the bridgehead?
Yeah, that's fine.
Firefighter maximum is in there. What is a firefighter maxim?
Okay.
Um,
Sober life and
yeah, the long version. That was like a multiple choice thing. With, okay, which one's the correct version? What else is in there?
That's nice.
There's a few things in there that made.
Do you have to have any IFEs to do your?
No, but I've got my IFEs from my previous brigade.
Okay.
So that kind of put me in good
Do you need
stead.
any for watch?
No, our brigade doesn't really recognise them.
A few places don't.
Yeah,
I was looking
on the head now.
Of the
I was looking because I was looking at your station managers, wasn't I? The other day
Yeah.
we had a chat about it, and there's nothing in there
No,
because there's another service.
Used to have to
Yes.
have it, but then it's now.
There's another service neighbouring this right now,
I saw them as well.
which has knocked me out because I haven't got my fire safety one. I've got my level 4s in leadership and science. But I've got goddamn unit 3 fire safety. I'm like, who cares?
I get it.
I get it. I like IFEs.
But it is a barrier for entry for a lot of
It
people.
is.
Our development
I'm like,
now is-
if you said you need to get it within 6 months, that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't because I haven't done IFE in 8
Our,
years. I did all of them ages ago.
Our development now is through Skills for Justice, so I don't know whether that's got something to do with it.
Probably.
It's a different kind of
Yeah.
qualification now that you just.
Yeah.
You don't need IFE bolted on.
No.
Maybe, I don't know.
A lot of them have transitioned over to that. Well, that's because all of the apprenticeships are done through.
That way, aren't they?
Yeah, because it used to be join the fire service, do your apprenticeship or probation as it was back then, because you didn't do an apprenticeship, do probation, and then some places would make you do a level 3, ops. Because there's a brand new firefighter, you should be able to do level 3 ops. It's not really
Level 2 was
Level
the firefighter one.
Yeah.
Level
wasn't
2,
it?
sorry.
Yeah, level 3 was the...
They would ask you to do that.
Portfolio.
But now they're doing the apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are signed off predominantly by SFJ, although some are signed off by the NFCC, have an arm for it as well. But yeah, SFJ, the accrediting process for it. Right. Fellas, I love that. Absolutely love that. Need to be respectful of the time. Go and give your family some love. People won't know we're recording in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week. It'll go out in a few weeks' time, but look forward to seeing you both out on the courses this year. Please be careful. Don't train too hard. I'm always petrified of injury.
Train less.
Let's
never more.
arrive safe and effective.
2 more.
Great excuse not to go to the gym.
He
told me to try
him
less.
I have to.
Right, see you out there.
On YouTube.
Boom.